Hello, hello, and welcome to another video. And yeah, today we're not gonna be playing console games for once, but actually we're playing arcade games, I mean, listen to some stories and also talk about the general stuff on arcade gaming that I quite liked back then, and we don't have it anymore for the most part. Of course, there are arcades still, but they're kinda hard to find depending on where you live. And yeah, there is obviously reasons for that to go on that. So I have here right here. Let's put some portraits in. I'll play with Mike. My favorite turtle is actually Raphael, but the range is not the best to be sure. There we see Krang stealing the Statue of Liberty. And there we go. Big Apple, 3 a.m. All right. And so, I mean, when you if you lived in like the late 80s, early 90s, arcade games were quite something to behold because like you see these graphics here and they seem very simplistic right now, but back then, man, like you really couldn't compare what you could do on a console to what you could do on an arcade. So I don't recall exactly. I think it's 1991 for this one. I know the earlier arcades game, the Turtles arcade game was even earlier than that. And but you had the Genesis being released, I think, 2 years prior. And doing all that's happening here, I mean, it's technically possible, maybe not with the same fidelity. Yeah, like console ports, they suffered a lot back then because the consoles really they couldn't cope with the amount of stuff that the arcades were doing for the most part. And even after that, like if you consider 90s games, one that I liked a lot was Daytona USA, for example. And for the longest time that was unattainable, man. If you saw the Saturn ports, it was, yeah, it was not close, let's put it that way. It's very cutting edge technology. Kind of robbed there. And so going to the arcades had this mystique of like, man, I'm gonna have an experience that there's nothing quite like it. You waited for the ports for your console and you're like, well, it's gonna be cool. And it was cool, to be sure. But it wasn't the same thing, you know? It was a facsimile of the real thing. And I mean, I almost titled this this video "Arcades Being Pay to Win That Is Done Right" because arcades are pay to win, right? By definition, you have to. Oh, I didn't want that pizza actually. Kind of sucks because you have to pay to play the game even. But I mean, it's a very fair transaction in the sense that, well, for the most part, right? There were arcades that certainly they cheated more than what it was. Reasonable so that they could steer your quarters. Hey, it's not locked in here. Looking like it. Oh, here comes the hand. Here comes the hand. And I have quite a few stories from arcades, and the first one I want to tell is with this game specifically here because I would go to the mall with my mom. Not every week, but every other week I'd say or so. It was a big thing in the town, of course. And man, one of my favorite things was going to the arcade and just watching people play, you know? I hardly ever played myself back then because this is what, 1991, 1992, I was 5, 6. And so I don't think I even could like reach the arcade machine for the most part. And so I just stand back and watch people play this one and the Simpsons arcade as well. Like it was there the whole time and people playing it, and it was just the best, man. Like I would go hours at a time just watching people play. Of course I would play myself after a couple years, I'd say, but even watching people play was an experience in itself. Like the game is so much fun. You're seeing the game right now. Like it is so hyper. The music is blaring on the speakers. The synth, like Konami always made games with excellent music. It is, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of people, man. This game, playing by yourself is quite hard. Like if you have 2 players or 4 players even, it is a lot easier. And now playing solo is quite cramped. And you only have 2 buttons here. You only have jump and attack. And beat 'em ups, they can get pretty repetitive, don't get me wrong, but pretty fun as well. So I just stand back, you know, and watch people play, and it was just enough for me, man. Like, and I'll go to other games. I'm gonna play 2 games in this session here, so there's gonna be this one and another one that you'll see in a bit. I won't finish this game or anything because I understand that beat 'em ups can get repetitive, that is for sure. But for now, we'll see. I want to do this to the sewer level. Actually, the sewer level, I don't know if it's SNES exclusive or not. One thing that me as a Genesis owner was kind of sad is that the Hyperstone Heist is not as good as Third Zone Time. I'll say that much. Unfortunately, Konami and Capcom both, they seem like they preferred the Nintendo console for a while there. I picked that up too early. That is my bad. And like the magic of going to the arcade, man, it's just like seeing the sights and sounds. Like everything is so pretty, and the lights are flashing. Just an overload of in your senses, you know, of stuff happening, and you're seeing it all the time. It's kind of like going to the casino for kids in a way. I think I want that pizza. That was a good pick. All right. If you've ever gone to a casino, it is very overwhelming in terms of your senses, you know. And it is very intentional. Like they don't let you see the morning lights and all that, so you lose the sense of time. And I don't know if people that created arcades, they try to emulate that, but it is a very similar experience that you're just overwhelmed by everything that's going on. This boss, I find it so hard to be technical with him, not die. Fortunately, we do have infinite quarters here, so that for sure helps. Now, in terms of games, there were all sorts of games in arcades, right? I was always partial to beat 'em ups. I like beat 'em ups a lot, but not all of them. There were better beat 'em ups. The Konami ones were really good, and Capcom had a few there as well, like Final Fight, of course. But there were a lot of bad beat 'em ups as well. I was never the biggest fan of Double Dragon, for example. Like it's an earlier game, and if you are used to the more recent beat 'em ups, it can be a bit like, this is kind of past, you know. That always happened in arcades when they had this machine that had been there like for a long time. I'm not from the Pac-Man era or that kind of stuff, but if you had a Pac-Man machine or a Galaga machine or something in the arcade that we went to, but there were more modern games there, then it could be kind of jarring, like, wow, what is this game doing here? But as a piece of history is also kind of fun, you know. Let's drop some quarters on a Pac-Man arcade and see what happens. No, I never got much into the high score type of games because I think I kind of had stopped. Sorry, when I entered the gaming scene, if you will, they were kind of a relic already. Just a shame. I suppose there's always stuff to find, but yeah. Now, fighting games are huge, and the second game in the session is going to be a fighting game. So yeah, after Street Fighter, man, like it was insane. Everybody and their mother started making fighting games, and it was super fun, especially the challenge of it. But I won't talk about fighting games too much right now because I want to save that talk and those stories to that section of the video. And now, before I delve into more stories, let's see. Yeah. Let me see my notes here. And I think that really the feeling of having access to something that was completely unattainable at home is like the first thing that springs to my mind, you know? Man, how do you dodge that? Jesus Christ, man. What else do I have here? The technological innovation, and this is a big one. Like a lot of stuff that came to the home consoles years and years after, like they were pioneered in the arcades. Like sprite scaling, for example, that Sega did very well, and Space Harrier and Afterburner and all that. Like it took years and years for that to come in a decent fashion to home consoles. I would say that like the Sega CD, right? And 32X were the first that... Is there a boss here? Oh, there isn't. Okay, it's this section here. Did it in a decent fashion. Like, I had the Genesis, and I sometimes ran to the Afterburner cartridge. It's a bit rough, man. Like, it's a bit rough. I played Afterburner, the arcade, and, you know, it is not the same. It is not the same. Now, we can go further, and... If I'm not mistaken, I think that Daytona USA had a partnership between Sega and Lockheed Martin, I think. So the development of 3D graphics themselves have a lot to do with arcades and all that. And that is when we go to the past. A bit of a random story. I think it links back to the third movie. The third Turtles movie is so bad, man. Oof. Now, how the Foot Clan is here with the dinosaurs is a valid question, but I guess we don't question it too much. Now, I was never much into shmups or shooters, if you will, when I was younger. Now, these days I like shmups a lot more than I did back then. Because to me, it seemed like they were just like these ruthless quarter munchers, you know, like you would waste your money on them. And the fact of the matter is that I didn't have the dexterity to play shmups when I was younger. Because they're hard games if you're not like, well versed in video games in general. Like this game here. There's two buttons, man. You just jump and hit the guy. So, of course, there's various ways to be good at this game. But generally, if you just like move forward and press a button, you'll be good. Even fighting games with some limited capacity, you can just like press buttons at random and some stuff will happen. Now, shmups, that's not like that at all, man. If you don't know what you're doing there, you're toast. Some of them have some leniency in that they let you live for the first stage or some of that, but after that, man, it's over. You're done for. One thing that I also like is the pixel art in general. Like, it is so nice to see these pixel graphics. Oh man, I'm out of range of the pizza. I wanted to draw more enemies in. Well, that sucks, I suppose. I didn't lose too much health. Well, I was gonna say I didn't lose that much health, but this bomb kinda changed my perspective on that. There were these random games as well, like there was the one that you could punch a thing, you know? You just... Like, who can throw the strongest punch? What was the name? I don't remember. It was kind of a hero or something. Dynamite Man? I don't remember. It was fun seeing people punching that with all their might and seeing how much they could register there on the machine. Forgot the sun cream, yeah, that's what he says. Now, they could have picked a pitch from Golden Axe here and let us... mount the dinosaur. That'd be cool. And this game is so funny. I mean, the turtles in general, they're so funny. I was a big Turtles fan, as you might imagine. Jesus Christ, the guy does a ton of damage. What the fuck? Yeah, it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, and then you jump away. There you go. This is my last quarter. Not anymore. Oh, in terms of, I think input devices is like something that I like arcades very much. There's a game that I'm not going to be able to demonstrate here, and it's one of the genres I like the most from arcades, which is dance games. So I played Dance Revolution for the longest time. Can I cross over this guy? But not only that, like Afterburner even, or the racing games like Daytona and Virtual Racing and that kind of stuff, that you had the wheel and everything, you know, and you would just like feel like you were in the car. It's so special, something that once again you couldn't replicate at home. Like I rented the Virtual Racing cart a lot. I love Virtual Racing, but I mean playing on the gamepad is not the same thing, you know, man. Like you being on the wheel there and turning the car and pressing the accelerator, that's just a different thing. Or Afterburner even, that the whole thing moves with you, man. That is just insane. There's this Indy 500 arcade that still is active in arcade. I go in Brasilia from time to time, and the car moves entirely once you go side to side. And it's just very, very cool. In terms of quality, I would say that my current wheel is better in terms of force feedback, but the fun factor of just being there and seeing that is just something else. Of course, the shooting games as well, man, like Time Crisis and Virtual Cop and whatnot. House the Dead. Man, those are so much fun as well. Oh my god. Okay, I managed to exit that. And now you see, it is so easy for me to talk and play this game because it's so much fun, man. You just like go to the arcade, buy a soda or something with your friends, and just sit there and waste an hour. It's so cool, man. So cool. Jesus Christ, this guy. It's called Spur stage, man. This Jesus Christ, this guy is ruthless, man. Come on. Alright. Now, in terms of actual game quality, I'd say that Streets of Rage is better than this, but I think I'll finish this stage and then we'll move on to the next game because I don't wanna spend too much time in a single game here. It's a whole arcade experience, right? You would hop from machine to machine. It is fun like that. Imagine wanting to finish games, man. There's a lot of quarters. And now we'll talk somewhat later about how arcades came to an end, but I think it's obvious for almost everyone, right? The fact of the matter is that home consoles started catching up to arcades more and more, and then I think that the only things that really survived in arcades, even to this day, is stuff that in terms of input device, it's not as easy for you to replicate. Man, I'm gonna have to fight this shoe alone? Okay, yeah, this game is definitely not meant to be played alone, Jesus Christ. Alright. Come on, Mike. Alright. But now, the games themselves, like even fighting games like Street Fighter, Tekken, and beat 'em ups are not much of a thing anymore, right? But wow, you can do that? Nice. I don't know, you could like cross them up and make them hit each other. That's pretty nice. Past the Saturn and especially Dreamcast and all that, like you could replicate most one-to-one, and the arcades started using the console hardware themselves, so there's arcade hardware that uses directly the PlayStation hardware, and then with Naomi, it's basically a scaled up Dreamcast machine. So then it was only natural that like if you can buy a Dreamcast or you can buy a PS2 and whatnot, well then why would you go to the arcade and spend money when you can just like buy the CD and have the full experience home, right? The DVD. doesn't make much sense from a cost perspective. But from a fun perspective, that's debatable. Because the next thing I have here, man, is the social aspect of arcades. And like, this is a big one. If you went to the same arcade day in, day out, it would start to get to know the regulars there, you know. And you yourself would become a regular, of course. Jesus Christ, man. This fight is just brutal. Oh my god, I'm getting screwed. Can I want to defeat one guy at least. Okay. Okay. And it's like going meeting your friends, you know, even if you don't live close by. So there would be this fighting game community, if you will. An arcade I visited. It was like seeing the boys, you know. Right, we're done with the pirate stage. Let's see what's the next stage, just out of curiosity. Oh, it's the Wild West stage. Alright. So we'll stop now. I'll make a quick break and we'll go to the next game. And we're back. And, well, who thought this was going to be a Capcom game? You were correct. Now, I thought about which game I would choose, you know, and out of all the games that I played that were by Capcom, I played, of course, Street Fighter 2. I played, well, it's not by Capcom, but I played a bunch of Mortal Kombat as well. And all the, like, Street Fighter Alpha, 1, 2, 3, and whatnot. Now, the series I liked the most was the Crossover Fighters. I played X-Men vs. Street Fighter a bunch, but then when this came out, and especially Marvel Super Heroes before then, there was an arcade that was extremely close to my home, to just like going on foot, like 3 minutes I would reach, and there was this Marvel Super Heroes arcade cabinet there. And my favorite character there was Spider-Man. And then I would just like dump quarters every day on the freaking machine, learning to play the game. And man, I was getting like decent enough that I could like 1cc the machine every once in a while. And then after a while, after that, there was that game, there was X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and then this one came out, which was Marvel vs. Street Fighter. And then on this one, I could play my favorite character, which was Spider-Man, but with the crossover and the smaller sprites, which I kind of like because like of the jump mechanic and everything. And so this game, I think, was the game that I played the most. And then when Marvel vs. Capcom came after, I played that a lot as well, but less than this one. But I also like that game very much. I don't like the character selection as much, I'd say. And then, of course, when Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came, and that was mostly console, like I wasted tons and tons of hours with that. But yeah, I mean, let's get started. Let's go. I'll play with my classic lineup here, which is going to be Spider-Man and Ryu. I sometimes play with Spider-Man and Wolverine as well. Sometimes with Captain America. Those are my favorite, my boys. So in these games here, you can do the super jump here, and then you can just like... Now, I bought a 8BitDo arcade stick. It's one of the reasons that this episode is being made. Oh, come on, man. So I have wanted to buy an arcade stick for the longest time, and now I've got two even. To play with my wife and my kids and whatnot. Come on, man. This is a game that I have to focus a bit more than the previous one, but like it's so much fun. There we go. And so this game was the one that I dropped the most quarters in my life, I think. And I have some very fun stories about this game. The one that I reminisce the most is when I traveled to a beach with my father. I don't remember the year exactly. And we were just there, and then close to the hotel, there was an arcade with several machines like SNK games, which I've always been terrible at. And then this one. And so I would go there like, I wouldn't say every day, but close to it. Come on, man. I'm trying to throw some Shinky Hadouken, but here, but... Oh, I hit the Shinchoryuken. Nice. It's a single hit, though. That does a ton of damage. Omega Red is one of my worst characters in this game, I think. And so I'd go to this... Kind of want to get rid of him if I could. Oh, that sucks. I got so much into the game, man. And so I'd go to this arcade, as I mentioned. Let me keep on the story. And then there was this Marvel vs. Street Fighter arcade there, right? And so I would play there pretty much every day. And I spent I think a week on that beach or some such. And people started getting to know me on the on the arcade. Like, this guy is coming here every day. And there were the regulars as well. And that'd be there on the machine, and there was this like camaraderie of like people would go to the machine if they saw that you were close to the end of the game, and then they were maybe ask you, hey, do you wanna play versus, or if you just wanna play against a PC? Like, the guys are not gonna make you waste your quarters, right? That's kind of bad form. But yeah, for the most part, I would say, okay, let's fight and everything. And so I remember this day that I came in there and I was, man, I'm really sucking here against Chun-Li. Okay. Nice. And so this day that I went in there, I was like really in the mood of play against people, you know? And then I recall that I don't know how many people I defeated with, like, I was playing Spider-Man and Ryu that day. But it was quite some. I think I defeated close to, I don't know, 15 people or something like that. It was getting pretty ridiculous. People just like lining up on the cabinet and just, hey, can I play you? And it was more of a situation of, why can't I pull off Maximum Spider-Man? Jesus Christ. Okay. I don't know why it's... No punish. And I'm really having some difficulty pulling off the... Okay, there we go. I think my controller is not mapped. What the hell is going on? I'm trying to pull off the... Okay, I got it. Man, that was gonna hit. Alright, no matter. And yeah, like 15 people coming and going, and then I was beating them, and that felt great, man. I was like, Jesus Christ, man, I'm on fire today. It was really a difference in competition level, because in my hometown where I went, did I put in 2 players? I think I did. Well, that is my bad. Hang on a second. Okay, I restarted the machine. I accidentally input like 2 players there. My bad. Let's do Wolverine Can here, just so we switch it up, but not too much. I always like the faster characters. But yeah, man, like the fighting games were like all the rage, and like Wolverine especially. There was an infinite combo, I think, in either this game or in X-Men versus Street Fighter. But yeah, it was one of the favorites that people like picking up and just like cheesing the opponents. I thought that was pretty cheap, but like, can't blame what works, right? I like Weapon X so much, man. It's. I think if the guy is defending, it can't block, if I'm not mistaken. So, Berserker Barrage X, you kind of have to be on top of the guy to not waste the damage. But yeah, this whole community thing of like you going there and meeting the people and playing every day, it is something that we quite lost, because like with online lobbies that we have today, even with fighting games and everything, like it is really good in terms of competition. It is nice that you can play with people that are your same level. But you know, it is different for you to just be, first of all, getting to know people that you play against every day. And not only that, but seeing the reaction of the person that you're beating or being beaten by, right, is... Man, come on. And these guys are just falling for it every time, and Jesus Christ, Wolverine is just too good. Yeah, Wolverine is just so fast, man. Okay, let's bring in Can for a while there. Now my play. All right. Choryuhepa. I don't even play online games that much anymore, if I'm honest with you guys, because the thing with the online lobbies is that it is very try hard. You know, everybody is just all the time trying to win, and it is understandable, but it gets a bit much, you know. It gets to be a bit much. You kind of lose the fun factor a little bit. And now the access to information is a big one as well, because like today, any fighting game or any game you buy, really, you can just go to the internet, and either the game has a tutorial or the game has a training room that you can use, and then you can just like try and get better with the in-game resources. And that was not a thing, you know. So like all these things that you would try to learn, it would be either a magazine or you would just... I threw it to the wrong side. Well, that's on me. And there was this situation where if you knew how to do something and your opponent didn't, which was very possible, because most everyone are just casual, you know. No professional Marvel versus Street Fighter players on your neighborhood, I would believe. And so yeah, you knowing how to do the combos or to do the special moves and everything, it was just... God damn, man. Hiryuken. Ah, there we go. that was nice. And so I remember like practicing and also buying magazines to figure out how to do the special moves and everything. I kind of want to get him with a special combo here. This is why I'm not actually attacking. Oh man, I screwed up. Alright, man. Okay. try and not lose here. Dang. Oh, okay. Imagine losing here. That would be pretty embarrassing, wouldn't it? A rookie. Hey man, let's see what else I have typed down here. Like, I have the transition to home consoles, which I kind of touched on as well, but like, the thing is that the Saturn wasn't big anywhere besides Japan, I'd say, and so still with when on the PlayStation N64 era, for the most part, the arcades were fine. Like, people were... I missed. We're playing on them and everything. Man, stop jumping, Jesus Christ, man. What? Yeah, that's okay. Shoryuhepa. But when the Dreamcast PS2 era came, and then, yeah, it was... everybody could just play the games at home, and like, why would you even, you know? Why would you even, man? Waste your money, you know, going to an arcade. And so that was the beginning of the end. And so in that era, I transitioned mostly to rhythm games, starting with DDR and then playing a bunch of Bump It Up as well. And I liked going to the arcades like for more than 10 years of my life, because it was this experience, you know, like just going there with my friends, going to the nearby supermarket and buying a soda or something, and just like enjoying the time you had together. Was different than just being at home the whole time. Even with the split screen gaming video that I made the past week, Weapon X is just wrecking these guys today. Jesus Christ! Oh my God, I'm screwed. That's gotta hurt, man. Oh, Hulk I always find should be such a hard fight. Jesus Christ, man. Oof. I'm trying to pull off the... Right, and we're back with another Capcom game. I kind of wanted to finish Marvel vs. Street Fighter there, but we had the controller issue, which is fine. Like, we can do this one as well. This is another one that I played a ton, not as much, but I quite like this art style for the Street Fighter characters that they adopted in the Alpha series, or Zero if you're from Japan, and then it was continued in the I'm doing a bit of a cheap shot here, not my intention. What's going on? Okay, finally. There we go. I'm trying to pull off some moves here, but it's not quite working. We'll see what happens. Okay, there we go. Pulling off the specials here in Alpha was always a bit harder for me, but we'll see, because you have to do a double quarter circle there. That's, I don't know, I don't have that much dexterity with a arcade stick yet, I suppose. And, well, let's see what else I have noted down here. There's a lot of new games that capture the arcade spirit quite a bit, right? But it is a bit of hit and miss, you know. I find that most games these days are quite long at times, you know. And the hallmark of the arcade experience is the game being short and sweet, you know, like easy to learn, possibly hard to master, not necessarily. And you can just pick up and play, and anyone can just sit down and understand how the game works. Like, just today, since the... Okay, there we go. Nice. Since the arcade stick arrived, I set this up here on my PC, and I showed Pac-Man to my kid, and I was like, yeah, the character is here, then you just like go there and eat things. And he was playing for the longest time, and because the game is just fun, you know. Pac-Man or Galaga or whatever, just sit down, you look at the screen 3 seconds, you're like, all right, I move the character like so, and then you're just playing the game. Like these fighting games that I'm playing right here, they are more technical, to be sure. But stuff like the Turtles game that I showed before, like just go to the right and you press the attack button. You won't get very far on that, but you get your... Man, I done this. I always have so much difficulty with this guy. And I feel like, not all of course, but several of modern games, like they do too much, man. You can't just like sit up and play the game, you know. It is hard, especially for someone that is not well versed in video games, man. It's just too much to present to someone. So like at times I'm like wanting to invite my wife to play something, and it is hard, man. Like, what am I gonna ask her to play? I don't know. Even games that I myself play, like Dota, for example. There's no way, there's not a casual game, you know. You have to know a bunch of stuff before you can be proficient in the game. And like, I think what I miss most about arcades, aside from the atmosphere itself, is just the philosophy of the games themselves, you know. This Tatsu wake up that I'm doing here is... Double kill, alright. Man, how the fuck? Jesus Christ. This guy's so fast. I am terrible against that. I'm like, this is for sure one of my Achilles heels here. I have been rediscovering a lot of shmups that people recommend and I didn't know about, like Battle Goriga or Donpachi I was playing yesterday, and like, man, those games are good, man. I should have probably played them back when they were popular, you know. Now, one thing that I'm planning soonish, I'll see how that goes, is that I'd like to have a home setup to play the light gun games. So there's the GunCon 3, as I understand, that you can use on LCD TVs. So that'd be fun, you know. Let's see how that goes. Now, this is something that I would recommend, man, if you have the means to do it, to just like try and have a home arcade setup, especially a RetroPie or something like that is plenty good. I'm trying to pull the Shoryu Repa, but I don't know, man. The double quarter circle, I'm not as competent on that, unfortunately. If you're competent at fighting games, it's probably very painful to watch me play. I apologize in advance. And how is this guy so fast? Let's try a shooter before we finish up then. Right, and we're back. I was playing with a red one yesterday. Let's see if it works. I'm sorry about the Tate or Tate mode screen there, but we'll make it work. I tried playing Battle Goriga as well, but that one was a bit brutal. I know there's a whole situation there with the scoring, but yeah, yet to learn, I'd say. Now, one thing that I can recommend everyone, especially with all the projects that we're seeing these days, like Mister and RetroPie, with these barcades that you can buy with several games. Man, that is such a worthwhile addition to your setup if you can afford it, because like it's very fun when someone comes around in your house and you can just like show them something that is simple and it's fun so that they can start gaming at once, you know, without like a bunch of explanation and everything. It's akin to like a Mario Kart, you know. A Mario Kart, why people like Mario Kart so much, besides being a good game, is that like you can just sit someone down and you can say, hey, you accelerate here, you just press this. You don't even have to teach them about like drifting or anything like that. And then they're just on their way, man. They're just having fun. And these games are the same thing, man. You can just sit someone down and say, hey, let's play some Turtles, man. And then, or Simpsons. Simpsons is even better because like Simpsons is a more well-known franchise, right? So you just say, hey, man, let's do this. And then they pick Homer or Marge or whatever. And then you guys are just playing. And if you have the possibility, right, of... That was exceedingly fast. Yeah. I did this much better than yesterday. I'm actually surprised here. And like the Wii, which I have set up in my living room for a few weeks now, and I have seen like some very good effect from that. Like people just stopping by and I can throw the controller in their hand. Hey, let's play some Wii Sports, and it's just happening. I can definitely see that these arcade games will be very similar. I mean, maybe not this one, but the other ones, especially the beat 'em ups and the fighting games, even if people are comfortable just like mashing their way through, which is fine. I think it would be pretty cool. There's lots of people that like Metal Slug, for example. I'm not big on Metal Slug. I never played much of it, but I can definitely see that it's just a great game. So another one if you're interested. Oh, I was so close to dodging that. I said the power up should just stay on the screen. Sure. Let's do the green one now. What happens here? Man, these hitboxes, man, they're hard to get used to. I played a bunch of, what's the name? The one that you're black and then white. What's the name of the game? Ikaruga. I like Ikaruga a bunch as well. Very different, of course, but it's fun to do these games, man. Even the power-ups, man. Come on. In terms of comments, yes. Do you like arcade games? Have you played arcade games a bunch when you were a kid or not? What do you guys think? I think that it is sad in a way that we have lost so much of arcade gaming culture these days, because I think that the philosophy behind arcade games is very cool. I think it's pay to win done right, you know? It is pay to win, but it is a very honest transaction between you and the developer. You know what you're getting. Man, there's so much slowdown here. Jesus Christ. Right. Oh, I wanted the blue one. Alright. Okay. And this boss just wrecking me. Jesus Christ. Don't know even how I died there, man. I like the narration as well, because it's probably a Japanese person talking English, you know, so it's very characteristic. And yeah, well, I'll stop for now and I'll just finish up the video, because I am more focusing. If you guys have noticed, I'm more focusing on the games than what I'm saying today, which is fine. I mean, it's okay. I think it's okay to have videos like these every once in a while, especially the Sonic ones were like that kind of in a way, you know. But yeah, in general, I feel like that what we had with arcades was pretty cool. It's sad to not see that many arcades these days, and the games that you see in arcades, they're very different in breed as well. Like there's a lot of, I don't know, man, stuff that you just throw a quarter in there and they're trying to maybe sell you some tickets, you know, or you can grab a little toy in there, or virtual bowling or virtual whack-a-mole. It's just like so lame, you know. Just such a low effort game, and I feel like the effort that people put in these arcade games back in the day was just truly something to behold. Like the arcade game was the main thing at one point. Like the console games were the secondary part of the equation, especially in the 80s, I'd say. And so it is different. But in general, what do you guys think? It's nice. It's nice to reminisce once in a while. I have quite a few stories and memories from arcades. The one game that I'm not gonna show here. You know what? Maybe we can. Here we are. So this is not exactly the game that you should play. I played a bunch of DDR and Pump It Up as I mentioned during the video. And the one I played the most was Dance Dance Revolution Extreme. I think it's my first version of that machine. And here I have ITG Mania, which is kind of the fork or the port of that, as in Step Mania, but for the PC and everything. And so I will only show a single song here because this is not the ideal game for me to like talk and also show, but I think that's in terms of like historical accuracy, since I'm talking about arcades and stuff that I liked. I think that not showing at least one rhythm game would be I would be remiss on that. I will mute the audio until we go to the song, just because I may have some songs here that are copyrighted, so we'll see. I'll try and skip them. All right, so okay, I think we're good now. I balanced the audio a little bit as well because it's a bit loud, but yeah, it's pretty cool if you like rhythm games. You can, in some ways, find the songs of everything. I have all the mixes here up until Supernova Choose. So the song I'm gonna play here is from Dance Dance Revolution Max. I think it's my favorite music of all of. It's not the most dancing music, but I think it's nice in terms of a demonstration because I'll be playing on the keyboard here, so it is pretty manageable. And yeah, it's this one, Max 300. So this one, okay, the audio I think is pretty cool, really relative to my voice. So at the peak of my powers, if you will, I would go to, there was a bowling near my house, and I would buy these packs of quarters, like 100, 150 at a time, and just spend all of them on this machine. And there were 5 songs per quarter, I believe. And when I was like really trained, which is certainly is not the case today, I like played this song like 5 times straight up, one after the other, and so it was pretty exhausting. But yeah, let's see if I still know how to do it. There's even a background. Yeah, pretty good. Some micro stutters. Don't know what that's all about, but maybe it's the background video. And there you go. All right, that's pretty good. And yeah, this was some years of my life here. And in general, this is the message of the video. Like, did you play on arcades much? Do you like arcades? Do you feel like we have it better at home right now? I feel like stuff like this, for example, you having a place that you go and you play your favorite fighting games, your beat 'em ups, your shoot 'em ups, your rhythm games. I don't know, crazy stuff like you go into a flight simulator and then it just loops around and around and you and all that. I think that's pretty cool, man. I think that's pretty cool. And there has been a retro revival, you know, so people are starting to search more and more from things from the not so distant past. And so I feel like Maybe in bigger cities, there could be space for a few arcades to still exist, and people will go there just for, even if it's nostalgia sake, or just to be on a place that's cool and has cool games and everything that's going on there. But yeah, this was the video. It was pretty unfocused, so I'm sorry about that. But hopefully, it was fun to watch, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.